I'm finally on my lunch break. Man, today is just moving so slowly. There's just so much that I have to do. I can't believe how much work there is for me to do today. I think I might end up coming home late from work tonight. There's just so much. I was just wondering if my sister and all them had already gone home or if they were still there.
Actually, they just went to go back to their place not that long ago. But man, I really just have to say that they were being so loud and noisy right up until they walked out of the house.
Well, it sounds to me like you had quite a bit on your hands then. Thank you so much for putting up with them. It means a lot to me, you know?
The truth is that I was already tired of them basically right after they arrived, to be honest.
I know, but I mean, they do have 2 kids after all. So I guess it only makes sense that they're going to cause a ruckus when they're there, right? But I hope that you were at least able to have a little fun with them while they were visiting.
Yeah, it isn't that I didn't have any fun or anything like that, but I just felt like I couldn't have a moment to myself that whole time. In fact, I've been meaning to bring this up for a while now, but don't you think that your sister has been coming over just a little bit too much lately? I just mean that ever since we moved into your house, your sister and her family has been coming over to spend the night weekly.
Oh, come on. You can't really be serious about that, right? I mean, you know they come over all the time because we live so close to the baseball stadium, right? You know how much they love baseball. They come over all the time so that it's easier for them to get to the games. Not to mention how close we live to the aquarium, the zoo, the amusement park, all that fun stuff. It's a convenient location for a family like my sister's.
And I get that we live in a really good place for families wanting to go out and have fun, but I just don't understand why it is that they have to stay in the night at our place every time that comes over. And more of that, they just come over so often. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like your sister just can't take a hint no matter how many I drop. But I just wish that she would come over just a little less, you know?
I know, but we're all family now, so I really don't think that you should be thinking like this about my sister and all. You don't want to end up pushing them away, do you?
No, it isn't anything like that, and I'm really glad that your sister and her family feel so comfortable around us.
Then I really don't see what the problem is. They all come over, wear themselves out having fun, and they go home. I don't know. I think it's kind of nice that they get to take so many trips as a family together, you know? And I think more than anything, my sister and her family are just kind of people who enjoy getting to spend time together with their family.
Well, it's not that I mind spending time with them. I just don't get why they always need to spend the night here. I mean, you realize they come over and spend the night every single week, right?
I really don't get what the big deal is, though. I mean, what's wrong with them coming over once a week to stay with us? I don't know. I think you should remind yourself that we're all family and maybe be just a little more forgiving. I really don't think that there's anything too wrong with them spending one night a week here, you know? That's the least we should be doing for family.
I understand why it might not seem like a lot where you're standing, but when they come over to spend the night, it makes a lot of work for me. I have to make sure the whole house is clean before they get here, I have to prepare more dinner than usual, and I have to wash the sheets and set out the air mattresses.
Oh, really? I'm pretty sure that my sister told me that they always try and eat something before they come over to make less work for you. I really don't think, if that's the case, that you'd have to do all that much cooking or anything like that for them.
Okay, but they are still guests, and I can't just not feed them anything. I mean, think about breakfast the next day.
I mean, it's just breakfast. I really don't get what the big deal is here, you know?
Look, I'm just trying to tell you how much extra work it takes for me when your sister and her family comes over all the time. I mean, you really don't know what it's like at all since you have to work on Saturdays. But that day is supposed to be a day off for me, and I always just end up doing so much work on it.
Well, can you just put up with it for me, please? I mean, you do realize that we only found this place that we're living in now because it was my sister who suggested it to us, right? She found the perfect place for us to live and worked really hard to find it for us, you know?
I mean, it's not that I don't feel grateful for that or anything, but I just don't think it's giving an excuse to act like this.
Come on. Just think about all we got, all because my sister knew someone who knew someone who knew about this place. We have a low mortgage rate compared to the rest of the market, and this house basically checked everything on our dream house box.
I agree that this is a really amazing house and that we were able to get it at a really good price. It's cheap and it's pretty and it does have a lot of things that we want, but I still feel like you're not listening to me.
Of course I am. But I think that you're not understanding that we really do have my sister to thank for all of this. So I think the least you could do is let her visit now and then.
So you're basically just telling me to try and suppress all this discomfort that I've just expressed to you?
I just don't understand why you're doing this. Are you trying to start drama with my sister or something like this? You know, the truth is that my sister actually really wanted to live here.
Oh, really? Is that so? I actually didn't know that she wanted to live here.
Yes, it really is true. Kim was thinking of snatching up this house for herself and her family, but she let us have it instead. So I think that you should really be much more grateful than you are. I mean, you do realize that if you ended up pissing off my sister too much, that we could lose this house to her, right?
What are you talking about? How could that even be possible when we've already signed the contract with this place?
Well, what if Kim approached the real estate agent with an even better offer? Then we might really get kicked out of here. And if we get thrown out of here, then we'll be back to square one in terms of our house hunt. So just please back off my sister for the time being, okay?
Well, I guess if that's actually a real possibility, then maybe I should back off.
Just keep telling yourself that they're gonna get bored coming over so frequently soon enough. And the kids are gonna grow up and will want to do other things for fun. And then they'll probably stop coming over so frequently. It'll all work out in the end, okay?
Okay, well, if you think that me asking her to come over a little less might upset her, do you think that you can maybe ask her for me?
You really are persistent. Do you know that? I thought that we just finished talking about all of this, didn't we?
Please, Chuck, why can't you just listen to me when I tell you about these problems? Your sister and her family have been coming over once a week like this for the past 4 months now. I just am starting to get really, really stressed out, and it's really starting to bother me, and you're not listening.
Okay. Jeez. I get it, okay? I get that you're getting stressed out.
Do you really, though? Because I'm really starting to reach my limits with this happening.
Okay, look, I'll go and talk to my sister about this, but I can't really promise that anything is going to really happen because of it, okay? And anyways, I think that you should be more concerned about getting this month's rent ready, since it's about time that we pay for this place.
Okay, sure, I can do that, but it's a little weird, don't you think? I mean, I feel like typically with a mortgage, the bank would just take the amount from your account. I've just never really heard of paying a mortgage directly to the real estate company and in cash.
Well, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I guess these guys are pretty old school, and that's why they want us to do everything off the grid. I guess they're just from a different age.
I guess, but would you mind if I give them the money this time? It's just that I've never actually met these people, and I think I should at least put a face to the name.
No, don't you sweat any of that at all. I'll handle it. I mean, after all, this guy is a friend of my sister's, so he already knows who I am, you know?
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that, but if that's the case, then yeah, I guess it makes sense for you to do it. And please remember to talk to your sister about what we talked about here today, okay?
Yeah, of course. I'll be sure to do that.
Hey Miranda, are you there? I was just wanting to say that we're looking forward to seeing you this weekend. And I also just wanted to tell you that you don't have to worry about preparing any kind of food for us. We'll be sure to eat before we come over.
Hi there, Kim. I was just wondering if you hadn't heard from your brother or anything like that recently. I mean, has he talked to you at all about you staying here or anything like that?
No, I don't really think that I've heard anything from Chuck about us spending the night. Actually, we really haven't talked at all for the past few months now that I think about it.
Oh, really? Is that so? I guess that I should have known. He really is just a slippery little snake sometimes.
What do you mean? Did something happen between the two of you? Is everything okay?
Kim, I'm really sorry to this, and I hope you know that I'm not wanting to be rude at all, but, well, I just have to say this. Please stop coming over and stay at our house every single week. I don't mind if your family come over and spend the night every now and then, of course, but you're just coming over much too frequently.
Wait a second, are you telling me not to spend the night at your place anymore?
I'm not saying that you can't ever again, I'm just saying that I'm starting to reach my limits with how frequently it's happening. And if you keep doing this every week, then I just don't get any time off to myself and I get really worn out.
Well, I understand all of what you're saying, but you do realize that it's in your housing contract that my family and I are allowed to do that, right? I mean, you also signed the contract, so I just assumed that you were aware of that rule.
Wait a second, what? Sorry, what contract is this that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, it's the contract you signed to rent this place from us. In exchange for us coming over to spend the night once a week, you all get to rent and live in our vacation home.
Vacation home? I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. I thought that the person who owned this house was some acquaintance of yours, no?
What? No, of course not. Nothing like that at all. That house belongs to my family and it's our vacation home. We're just renting it out to you.
But then, Chuck told me that there was a company that we were working with. I thought that we were renting this place as our own home.
No company or anything like that, but are you really telling me that you haven't heard anything from my brother at all? I mean, we were letting you live there for free after all.
So, but I am just really not understanding anything right now. Chuck told me that we were paying off this house and then we got it through an acquaintance of yours. Not only that, but we've been paying about $1,000 a month for this place.
Well, I don't know what that's about since we're not asking for any rent from you at all. My brother said he was in some financial trouble, so that's why we came up with this arrangement. So that being said, we haven't seen a single cent in terms of rent money from my brother at all.
But I don't understand. I've been giving them the rent money every single month. What in the world happened to that money? This doesn't make sense at all.
I don't really know what's going on either, but now that you've told me all of this, but it sounds like my little brother might be up to no good right now.
You mean to tell me that Chuck lied to me about the house?
You know, about 6 months ago, Chuck came to me saying that he was in some serious financial troubles and asked about renting the vacation house from us. But I told him that if the money was a problem, we would rent it to you two for free as long as we could come over and spend the night once a week. So that's exactly why we've been doing just that. Packing up our car and driving out here to spend the night on the weekends.
I see. So that's why you were also intent to come over every single week. Well, I just have to say that I had no idea about any of this. I am so sorry for this mix-up.
You don't have anything to apologize for at all. You didn't do anything wrong. It sounded to me that my brother was living really irresponsibly and got you into this mess without you knowing. I mean, he told me that you guys were living hand mouth to mouth and basically wouldn't be able to afford any rent at all, but are you telling me now that that's not true?
Of course this isn't true. Chuck and I both work, so if there's rent weren't that high, then we would for sure be able to pay up for it.
I see. Well, if that's the case, then it sounds like my brother has lied to us both when it comes to that house, but I just wonder what he's really doing with that rent money that he's been taking from you all this time.
I have no idea. Oh, my head feels like it's spinning now that we've had this conversation. Kim, I hope this isn't too much to ask for, but would it be alright to talk about this all in person?
Yes, of course. I was thinking the exact same thing. We need to talk about this.
Hey Chuck, are you there? I was just curious if you're going to have to be working extra late tonight. The thing is that there's something that I'd like to talk to you about, so I would really appreciate it if you could come home a little early.
Oh, no! I'm really sorry that I forgot to mention this until now, but we're actually having a little office outing this evening, so I won't be home until quite late tonight.
Oh really? You mean your boss is taking out the whole office to go drinking or something? Wow, well, I just have to say that you really have no idea how jealous that makes me.
Oh, come on. It's not like we're going to be out throwing a rage or anything like that. It's just going to be a boring working dinner, you know? Besides, you know that we don't have the money to go crazy like that.
Oh really? Are you sure about that? What happened to the thousands of dollars that I gave you the other day?
What in the world are you talking about? That money was for our mortgage. Don't you remember? I took that money and went to go pay it in person.
I see. You know, I actually have some questions about this person who you've been paying out rent money to. Like, where do they live? What's the name? What kind of person are they really?
Are you okay, Miranda? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? I don't get why you're being like this.
You know, I'm actually here with your sister right now, if you really want to know.
Oh, really? My sister's there? Wait a second. Isn't it a weekday today? Why is she there right now?
I don't know. Do you want to take any guesses at why I might be here with your sister right now? Let's try and think. I'll give you a hint. It very much has to do with what I was just asking about, who you're paying their rent to.
I'm sorry, but I really just don't understand what you're talking about at all. I mean, really, what are you even talking about?
Okay, well, then let me just tell you that your little secret is out and the two of us know everything now. I know that there isn't anyone that you've been paying our rent money to, and the reason Kim and her family have been coming over weekly is because it's part of her contract you had with her. And I also know that you've been trying to hide this all from me.
Wait, no. What? What are you talking about? Miranda, come on, are you even listening to yourself right now?
Oh, come on, Chuck. Don't you try and play dumb with me. I already told you that we already know everything about what's going on with this. I know that the reason you had to agree to let Kim and her family come over once a week is because she wasn't charging us any rent at all. So, what do you have to say about that, huh? I would just love to hear how you'd get out of this one.
It's Okay, look. I want you to understand that I have a good reason for everything that I've done about this. Okay?
Oh, really? You mean that you have a good reason for lying to me and your sister? And you have a good reason for why you lied to me about where our money was going when I handed over our rent money and cash to you every single month? You know, I've been wondering, just what have you been using all of that money for in the first place, huh?
Well, okay. The truth is that I was just pocketing that money and using it to have some extra pocket money for the month. I'm sorry for lying to you about that.
And is that all you have to say for yourself? How about you try telling me where that all of our money just went?
Well, I've actually been getting really into fishing lately, you see. So I've been asking you for the rent money and spending it on expensive rods and lures and stuff like that.
I've been paying you $1,000 for the past several months now, and you expect me to believe that you spent all that money on fishing? Come on, you're going to have to do better than that, Chuck. Why don't you tell me what else you were spending it on?
Okay. The truth is that I've also been using that money to bet on boat and horse races and those kinds of things.
You mean that you started gambling again? I thought you told me that you were going to quit 2 years ago.
I know. And I didn't lie to you. I really did quit. For a while.
Okay, well, that isn't what quitting means when we're talking about addictions. Do you get that?
I know, but it's just... Look, you have to understand, I only started gambling again a couple of months ago. Okay?
Do you remember all the debt that you got yourself into when you were gambling before you decided to quit, right? Are you telling me that you really haven't learned a lesson from that at all?
Of course I learned a lesson. Back then I was really obsessed with gambling and had a real problem. I put so much money into it and I lost it all. But I've learned how to be smarter about my money, and that's why now I'm not dumping nearly as much money into these races as I used to.
Oh yes, well done, Chuck. You really have found the secret to sustainable gambling. And all you had to do was lie to your wife in order to convince her to hand over her hard-earned money so that you weren't playing with your own. Is that right? Honestly, I really don't even know what to say to you right now. You really are just so sad, do you know that? I mean, really, Chuck. Do you have any idea just how disappointed not only me, but also your sister is to you right now? You have no idea just how badly you've let us down. After all, you weren't just lying to me, you were lying to your sister as well. You were creating problems between the two of us, and it's all because you wanted to trick us both so you could selfishly go back to your gambling.
I know, and I really am so sorry about all of this. I never meant to hurt either of you at all. I want you to know that I was really going to tell you the truth once I won big. I just needed a little more time, and then I was going to win all the money that we would need to move out and find a real home that we could actually call our own.
I thought that we already found that here, Chuck. You told me that you had gotten this house through your acquaintance of your sister's. You said that this was our home. I thought that this whole time we were paying the mortgage in order to pay down this house so that we could eventually own it. This whole time I thought you were just letting your sister and family stay here out for some family obligation. But now I find out that we were never going to own this house because it's already belonged to your sister and her family. Here I thought that you were just letting Kim and her family use our home as their vacation home. But this whole time, it was actually the other way around. Well, I just want you to know that you and I are through now. After I stopped responding to Chuck's message after that, he rushed home and begged Kim and I to forgive him for all of his lies. Of course, neither of us did, and it wasn't long before Chuck and I had started the divorce proceedings. I also made sure to sue him for his fraud since he tricked me into funding his horrible gambling addiction. Even Kim said that she was never going to let another family live in her place for free. I took the alimony money and the money from my lawsuit and used it to move into a nice small condo that suit me perfectly. As for Chuck, I really have no idea what happened to him. His family cut him off and stopped talking to him. Last I heard, he had moved into a tiny apartment and fell back into his gambling ways. I heard through the grapevine that he spent all his spare cash on the races, hoping to make it big one day. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.